Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Conelanders here, and welcome back to the Assetto Corsa Conelanders League. This time we are in Monza for the GP circuit, again in the MX-5. We did this race last season, and it was one of the most interesting races of the season. I expect this season to be no different, even with the changes to the format. There's just something about the layout of this track that makes getting any kind of car around here in any sensible fashion a challenge and a impossibility to do cleanly. So this race, I am doing a post-commentary voice recording on it, and I'm going to try and do this all in one sitting. It's going to go poorly, and I don't think it will be as good as the live commentaries, but in the hustle of the weekend, I managed to lose the audio from my perspective of the race. As you can hear by the laughing.
Please don't hit me.
Other people's audio will still be here, so I'm going to try and not talk over it when I can.
I need one extra lap.
And I guess we're joining right at the end of qualifying here, and qualifying was very close. However, I ended up not doing as well as I have in the past. Qualified in the 3rd position. Honestly, I didn't give this track too much time in the way of practice. Just didn't feel like it was completely necessary.
That'd be me.
Or me. And me.
I'm not really sure what I said that there to get that response, but apparently it was something that everybody agreed with. I'll just assume it was that I had screwed something up somewhere down the line.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Piker was excited because he wanted to start on the inside, or the outside. The inside. Yes, the inside, because the second place position here, wow, this one take's going to go really well. The second place position starts on the right side of the track here, not the left. So that's an interesting thing. You would think the pole sitter would start on the inside of the track for the first turn. Not the case here, and it doesn't seem to be the case at most GP tracks.
How many laps is it?
The 3rd place for me is less than ideal. However, from 3rd place we can still get to 1st by turn 1. You all know how turn 1 is here at Monza. It's just an absolute dead stop. Everybody piles in there, and you just hope that you can live and survive. What am I even clicking on there? Live and survive to see turn 2. And I don't have a lot of hope that that will happen. That was Maestro being upset that his lap didn't count. I knew that a lap wouldn't count. He was over the line past the checkered.
Hey, everybody, don't forget to record.
I didn't forget to
No
record.
problem with that last time.
I forgot to save my recording, or my audio recording, but I didn't forget to record. Alright, so we are lining up on the grid here. One of the things that I think is the best change for the season has nothing to do with me, and everything to do with Kuno's. The real starts.
Well, good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everyone. Good luck, everybody.
I'm pretty sure I said good luck somewhere in there.
Good luck.
So yeah, we're starting on the left here. You see Piker there on the right. Piker's been doing a great job here in Monza.
Awaits us.
Lights are up. So my general strategy has been to ping it on the limiter and just wait for the lights to go out and dump the clutch. This car is perfectly happy to do that. And away we go with another good start. Everyone's been doing fantastic on the starts. Have not really seen any penalties or upsetness on the starts. I'm sure it'll happen eventually. Good start there. We got by Servatis, and now we're kind of peeked to the inside of Piker, but you know what? Not worth it now. Perfectly done. I could have probably stayed ahead of Servatis all the way through that turn, but I was really just happy to see everybody giving everybody else some room.
It's alright.
To be frank, the one person
It's a miracle.
I was really worried about here in Monza was Maestro. He has some interesting lines around this track
Did no one die?
that I was a little worried about.
No, everything's fine.
Servatis taking a little peek down the inside there. I give him the inside line, but then take the inside of the right-hander.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Then he's sorry to go around. As I said, there's just no way to get through this track without some kind of collision somewhere along the
That's
lines.
also a way how you can overtake.
So Piker
Apologies, I was a bit flustered from the first corner.
Piker getting a good launch there. as the three of us kind of have our own little tomfoolery back here, he just checks out.
Well, I mean, you've helped me, but
2 seconds in the lead on the first lap. That's a pretty healthy margin. Alright, now we're watching Maestro. But everybody keeping calm. Nobody getting too crazy. So the curbs here are going to be a topic of discussion the entire weekend. I had decided going into this heat that I was not going to use...
It's all good. I stepped out on you.
I was not going to use one of the cut curbs, as I call them, in the second chicane, because I didn't feel good about it last season with Sharky in our race. That was a decision I made with myself, and I did not really ask anybody about it. I didn't say, "Hey guys, are we going to be using the curb here, or are we gonna lay off of that?" I wish I had discussed that, but I did not.
Where is all the draft?
It's right there, Maestro.
Ah, here it goes.
This car drafts really well, but only when you're right behind somebody.
three wide into the first corner.
That's a good response to the feeling of 3 wide into the first corner. Now, I know how Maestro did me wrong there last season, so I give him that position through the first chicane because I didn't want to end up
Sorry for
spun
small
out.
bump.
There we go, there's a first gear grind of the race. Plenty of those to go around. So I got
You guys
Servatos here
stay back there. Just stay.
in the draft,
Of course, it ended in disaster.
expecting him to pop to
Sorry
the
about
inside.
that, Magna. I think I bumped you a second time because I got tapped from him.
And then I'm getting a
You know.
huge run on Maestro here.
I don't think I was bumped.
A huge run on Maestro. And I feel like there was some kind of latency issue happening there because he kept like backing up to me. Like every time I would let off,
Cause I take different line.
every time I would let
It
off.
requires
I'll let
earlier
Maestro.
braking.
Yeah, I think I was saying like, why in the world were you braking so early there? What was going on?
So we both had the same idea.
It seems so, it seems so.
I actually thought that you would take the inside.
See,
You didn't see that, Carl.
I don't think he realized that he had Servatos wanting to pass
That was
me.
a big mess.
And nor did I want to take the inside. I was trying not to hit him, but his car kept like backing up to me. So it was either a latency issue or he lets off way before it hits the brakes. And I do think that is the case because we talked about it after the race. And that is not normal for that turn. Like if you're braking into a chicane, it's more normal.
Thank you so much, Sir Cone.
I think I said, you're welcome for this gap. Now, when you are braking into a chicane, into a real tough turn like that, now Parabolica, this is a turn you might float it in. But into a chicane, I expect you to come off the gas and straight onto the brakes and just real hard onto the brakes. It was a very strange situation, and to this moment, I'm recording this voiceover literally like 5 days after this race happened. I still don't completely understand what was going on there. I do have a little bit of insight. We are racing on my server. Anytime it's my heat or the main features, it would be taking place on my server. The second heat and the B feature are hosted by Moose's server. Turns out, my lovely roommates were having a let's watch Netflix all day, and I was not aware of this. So everybody is probably suffering from some lag issues throughout this weekend. Somebody speaking.
Sorry, Roda, I thought you had a different line.
And that will, yeah, like I said, that'll just continue to be a problem through this whole race weekend. I'll try to make sure that doesn't happen in the future.
Sorry.
But now, the three of us, I'm really hoping, can work together a little bit and try to work our way back up to Piker. It's not impossible, and you can do
Play inside shadow.
you can do faster laps here if you draft right with each
Outside.
other. Unfortunately, I am not comfortable doing that with Maestro, especially with the lag that we're having. So, if it were somebody I was real comfortable with, a Sharky.
I
I had a little moment there.
or even
I thought we were gonna die.
Joe or somebody that I've raced a lot with, I would probably back up and try to draft each other and do a little
And then
bump
I
drafting,
died.
work our way up.
Shadow!
Some fun happening in the back of the field. I'm very anxious to watch other people's perspectives from this weekend because I heard a lot of very funny radio chatter throughout the whole race. So yeah, here I'm just trying to check out on Maestro. I don't think it's going to work out for us to work together, even though Maestro is significantly faster here than me. 3.7 second lead, or 3.5 or so that Piker has. I could chop into it a little. I feel like I have
Sorry.
just a touch more pace than he does here, but we need something more dramatic to happen to get up there to the lead. And again, my whole philosophy this season is just let the heats shake out as they do, and we'll focus on features.
That's not a good sign.
I don't know what the bad sign was. Oh, okay, I closed in on him. But again, only 2/10. 2/10 isn't going to get us there. Alright, now I'm starting to lap by myself here, and that should clean up my lines, but sometimes when you have a goal in front of you, and you have predators behind you, it kind of gets in your head and you start pushing harder than you should. And this is one of those tracks that pushing harder makes you go slower, so that's not a good thing. But while we have some time here, as the race is calming down, can we have a discussion about chicanes and why I hate them? It's not really even the chicanes, it's track usage, and this is a very big topic on the Formula 1 circuit at the moment. We've gotten to the point now where the tracks have started paving runoffs and started paving everything. Look at this track and look at all of the green quote-unquote astroturf around the curbs. That's all track maintenance like issues. They're trying to keep cars from running off the track, dropping tires, and A, killing the grass, B, kicking out the dirt, and C, when you return to the track, the tires go from the low dirt to the higher asphalt, and it takes out chunks of the asphalt. That is not good. That's not good for the track, creates more work for track owners. So what they do is they start paving these little runoff areas. Well, when they start paving that, a race car driver wants to go as fast as they can. If there's track out there, if there is asphalt out there, if there's something out there that they can put their car on to go faster, they're gonna use it. Now, I was, at one point in my life, pretty obsessed with track design, and I spent pretty much all of my waking hours creating fictional or real tracks for NASCAR 2003. Many of you already know that, but that has really always been something I'm very interested in, and I always love seeing new track designs. I love seeing, just different tracks all over the world. And I've always felt this way, that the key to making a good track is to have something that flows correctly for all types of cars, or all types of cars you're going to have there. And a good part of that is having the tracks runoffs and areas like that being in places that make sense. So, say on the exit of a turn, if that turn is frequently leading cars and looks like it's going to lead cars, and you can tell, into running off, you're probably going to want to pave that out there. Now, in my opinion, the correct solution for that would have been to have made that turn radius differently so that it didn't try to shove you off track. However, that's sometimes a good challenge. A turn that pinches you off on the exit makes you change your line. It's a real test of driver. It's a very interesting part of driving, the driving experience. So by just paving all of those areas, you kind of detract a little bit from the racetrack. So there's a balance there,
Well, that didn't go exactly to plan, Magnet.
Nice little drift there.
Nope.
Nice slide.
Maestro approves. Good, we got Maestro approval on something. So the balance there is, I think,
again.
no longer being held. We're just taking the easy route everywhere and just paving off any place where people dip tires all the time, and that is making tracks worse and it's creating this issue.
Oh, Lord.
Before, I never heard about track extending or anything like that.
Slide there.
And this is, for a long time. I've been following F1 since kind of the late 90s, and that was never an issue. The tracks just keep getting more and more chicaned up, and they slow them down for obvious reasons. However, they don't do this logically. They just do it like, okay, we need to slow the cars down here, so here's a chicane. And pave the whole area. Make it easy. That if you're going to do that, you have to accept the cars are going to use all of the track that they can. I have no problem with that. That's the fault of the track creators. Just let the track morph. Let it like, you know, nature paths, I guess they're called, or what is it called? And like on a school campus or something, you watch where people walk and then you pave that instead of just like laying out sidewalks. Because people are jerks. They will just walk wherever the path of least resistance is. Race car drivers are the same way. If people are going to excessively use the same bit of track over and over, just make it part of the track. Don't try and force them not to use it. That's where my stance falls on that. I guess that's enough of covering that subject, and particularly because there is some things about to happen in this race. So we're currently at lap number 6, and we are in second place, and we're braking for my favorite chicane here. And I was much too late. And despite seeing that I was much too late and losing, you know, kind of trying to gather myself back together, Maestro decides, lifting's not necessary, and just drives right through me. Remember what I was talking about earlier about some people that
Powers, don't do something crazy.
that I feel more comfortable
No.
racing with than others? That's part of the reason why there's just a little bit of a disconnect between Maestro and the other cars on track. And that's perfectly easy to explain. He's a rally driver. He's basically done nothing but sim rally racing.
I just wanted to let you pass, Powers.
And that mentality sometimes I think leads him into trouble because he doesn't know how to back off. He doesn't know how to let people, you know, gather their car up and stuff like that. Racing's a real balance between pushing as hard as you can to go fast and making it to the end of the race. Unfortunately for me, he ends up the one making it to the end of the race, but I suppose it's all what comes around goes around, because I did hit him earlier in the race, even though that itself was its own little bit of Maestroisms. I've heard multiple people exclaim that throughout this weekend at Monza about how it's just very bizarre to follow him through these turns because his lines are so dramatically different than are other people's. And it's got to be because of his previous, you know, rally background. He learned to drive. He learned to sim race in the rally environment. So we made a lot of jokes about him not being a rookie here, but it really does show that this kind of racing discipline has significant differences. And at this point in the race, my race is shot. It's not the end of the world to have a bad heat, luckily, because compounding issues, basically. I'd had a really rough morning setting up the league leading into this, and then the two incidents in this race, my bump into Maestro and then the receiving bump from Maestro, has just like tipped me off the scale. Even if I still had the audio recording, pretty sure I didn't say anything for these last two laps. Completely missed a braking point right there again. So I just let Smart Pipe go and just want to get to the end of the race at this point. It's something I need to work on. I'm not really sure how. I've been sim racing for the better part of 10 years now, and it's always been something I struggle with. Whenever things go wrong, I let it get into my head, and it detracts from my ability to being able to maintain a race, being able to keep on track and stuff like that. I've got to find a way to do better. I'm not sure how. Trying to maintain commentary during all that just compounds the issue. But I think it's a more interesting type of video that way. I remember I used to do nothing but this kind of commentary over racing. I'm sure it's a little bit more join together, like my thoughts string together a little bit better, but I don't think it's as interesting of a media. I've always thought it would be real interesting to hear a driver's thoughts in a real racing environment throughout an entire race. But it's not something you can really pull off.
Magnet.
I'm running away now.
So it looks like we're going to come home in 5th position here in this heat.
Yes, I am.
I miss you guys.
Sorry, Colin, for the bump. I tried.
I really want to watch this video because I don't think he lifted. But there we go. 5th place. It's going to be an interesting feature.
Oh no.
Aww.
That's too bad, Carl.
How'd that happen?
Alright, so that marks the end of the heat number 1 for Monza. We come home in 5th place, which is one of our worst finishes, I think, in the league history. However, this is just a heat race, like I said, and it's not the end of the world. We will be starting lower in the field for the feature than we have ever started at a track that you do not want to be in the mid-pack, so it will be an interesting feature for sure. We'll see if we can survive through it. As not great as I've felt here at Monza the whole weekend, I actually had a pretty good fast lap this race, so I was only 3/10 behind Maestro. And as we go into the feature, some things change that may make this first sector time a little bit better. I'll let you try and figure out what I mean by that, but overall, it wasn't the worst race. I just wish we hadn't had this incident and this incident. But it is what it is, and we'll keep our head up and head into the feature and try to get our way back to the front. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for putting up with the post-commentary in this race. Think I got the audio for the feature, and I will see you then for the feature tomorrow.